For those who are wary of ethical judgments that seem to contain woolly thought, Hume's guillotine cuts through moral pronouncements involving the words is and ought. How naturally people say X is the case, and therefore we ought to do Y, when this seamless progression from is to ought has no actual logical tie. The planet is getting hotter. We ought to get rid of our cars. Your protest disrupts my everyday life. You ought to be behind bars. You're a successful businessman. We ought to tax you more. I'm a successful businessman. I ought to go offshore. However impassioned the speaker, however fierce their tirade, in the leap from is to ought, no connection has been made. Your country is now at war, therefore you ought to fight, may not be as morally obvious as it seems to be at first sight. However true, no statement of fact is in itself an argument to act. From life or death decisions to casual conversation, Hume's guillotine separates fact from an idly induced obligation. Between is and ought, we need to hear more than one simple word like so or therefore. You can bring more facts to the table when building an ethical case, but the deeper a moral discussion goes, the more we have to face our background, our feelings, old habits, assumptions. All of them have their place. Hume's guillotine, or is-ought problem, reminds us that human morality is rooted in custom, emotion, and instinct, more often than pure rationality.